down at the top and just get that front field, yeah? Good on it. Is that all right?
By the way, guys, side and left, guys, please. Good stuff. What's up with you guys? Nice to see you. See you later. How you doing, bro? Sorry, man.
He promised, he delivered. And so then again, Tony Joshua names, rings that bell of joy in the hearts of many who has indeed supported him. He said he's ready, and of course I've been told sometimes this year he will be ready to take on an American who's already singing the song of "Come Fight Me If You Can." We will also get to look at that. On that note, I welcome you to a program that truly should hold its own. So much to talk about. Only yesterday we saw the Nigerian Super Falcons, and as they are called, and they took on the French female team. 90 minutes was something to look about. I have always said it's not about the goals or however it all happened. It's all about the friendly, trying to know who plays where. That is what truly matters. So much to talk about today, the UEFA Champions League. Why not catch a glimpse of what Ronaldo has done? Those who will always compare Ronaldo and Messi, says Messi didn't reply, perhaps in the second leg. The discussion can't truly stop. Also, tonight, we will have the big one. Man City have their hands full against Manchester United. They don't want that type of play that transpired in the UEFA Champions League with Liverpool. We will, on the program, discuss all of this. This and so many more, only if you stay with us. I haven't changed my name, I won't. On the day I do, you will be the first to know. Chris Obokwal is my name. Glad to be here, to be sincere, and of course happy that you are joining us. All that remains now is for you to tell your friends and your neighbors to cluster around while we use another 2 hours to, why not, talk about all of this sports in totality. The Commonwealth Games also has since started, and we have seen athletes descend in Australia. There are good news and there are bad news. We will take each one of them as they come. But as you know, I will not be doing this alone because I have those who will give all the analysis, who have come in to put all of that. I have in the studios with me Tony Wigwe, ex-international Super Eagles of Nigeria, joining us. And of course, we also have with us here Abiodun Ilorin, men who can actually hold their own when they matters. Let's put it this way. Let's put it this way for Abiodun Ilorin. So the Nigerian Football Federation have said the Nigerian jersey is not yet ready. So every other person, we expect that you wear just the same jersey like this until it is ready. Unfortunately, the Nigerian Football Federation officials are not listening. Just do as you say. That's what we'll say. Gentlemen, let's not give them rough times. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
Brilliant.
Nice having you.
Brilliant. Without wasting time now, let's quickly go and catch some glimpse of the Commonwealth Games. It has since started, but then again, let's take you back to the memory lane.
Since 1930, members of the Commonwealth of Nations have celebrated a tradition of sporting competition.
5 gold medals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the swimming pool.
88 years later, in this age of opportunity and renewed relevance for the Commonwealth, the notions of our movement and what it represents are more vital than ever before.
For me, the Commonwealth Games means that we can share the very best of what is in the Commonwealth, and also being able to share the cultures and the traditions that are so varied and so different. No idea what it felt to be told that you're going to a Games, and especially your first Games at the age of 15, 16, and never having been on a plane before, never having been outside the UK before.
Louise Campbell of Scotland has a perfect start.
We had a very small team. There was only 4 girls in that team. To be selected to represent Scotland, we were awestruck, absolutely awestruck.
people are starting to identify with the Commonwealth once again. This unique family of nations is seen as a force for good in the world. And the athletes, as leaders and ambassadors for Commonwealth sport, they see the opportunity they have to improve and transform society for the 2.4 billion citizens in communities all across the Commonwealth. These athletes truly embody who we are as a modern Commonwealth, sport with a social conscience and impact.
Honestly, I never thought I would have been the one to actually make history in the Bahamas.
With Gold Coast 2018, preparations for Birmingham 2022, new members joining our family of nations, the Commonwealth is in the spotlight once more.
The Commonwealth Games are so completely different from any of the other major big games because we all have the shared values. We speak the same language and we are one big family.
The Commonwealth is more relevant than ever before.
Pack light and pack right. Only bring what you need. Check online for details on items you're allowed to bring into venue.
So if you will be in Australia, remember it is for you things to get your tickets, sun cream. That's most important for those who will be in the sun to watch the athletes do their thing. Let me bring in Tony Wigwe. Tony, the big Commonwealth game, which has been since talked about, has since started. What did you see? I mean, the opening ceremony was glamorous, as they would say.
They really strive because out of experience, they've hosted lots of major competitions, so obviously you know that Australians will produce when it matters most, so, and which they did. It was the only little niggle problem that they had was that England was listed as an African country.
Technology mistake.
So, but outside that, I think it was a very, very wonderful opening ceremony.
I mean, these games are to discover talents, and of course, for those who perhaps will never find themselves in the Olympic Games, to have a taste of what it could be.
Yeah, this is the opportunity to shine. And don't be surprised, we will still see records being broken at the Commonwealth, because this is where those who couldn't make it at the Olympics and World Athletics meet, this is where they excel. Because some of them, it all depends on their psychological and mentality and other factors as well. Some seems to excel in lesser tournaments like this, and this is where you see them blossom. So I'm expecting to see new talents come up, new stars coming up, and this is the beauty of Commonwealth, and it's the union of those countries that makes it good. And from what we've seen so far, it's like England started on a very fast note, and we are beginning to see them doing well in areas where they've never been so fantastic in the past. I think they started with the pool, and then they've just started clearing medals. So it's good for the Commonwealth countries. It's good.
Good. I think the good thing about it, especially for those of us who enjoy development, is seeing the young ones go out there. And of course, the young ones actually seeing them perform. Let me quickly take you on this ride where a 10-year-old thinks that she can get to the Commonwealth Games, to the Olympics, and win medals in gymnastics. Take a look. We'll get to return. Stay with me. brilliant. Looks really brilliant. Guys, this is exactly why these games are there for us to, showcase how talent. Plenty of people are watching. I hope this perhaps motivates them.
Yeah, it is. You cannot take that away because of when you see something like this, it will inspire every other generation, even men, women, boys, and girls. To put their kids into such kind of academies, to train them. To give them a good platform to become whatever their dream is in the future. Because every parent lives the dream of the child, and the child lives the dream of his or her dream through the eyes of the parents. So if the parents are able to pick up the dream from the child as early as possible like this now, then they can channel him or her in the right direction. And I believe that if you watch this thing, it's inspiring, and there's nothing you can talk about it but just to continue heaping praises on her.
Abe, every child wants to get to the podium. That is just their dream, and this is another.
I think this generation is simply lucky. It's a generation of boom. Boom because whatever you do that will make you excel brings you money and sort your future out for you. Unlike our generation where they see sports as events for vagabonds. But you can see what it has become today. Everybody gets inspired by one athlete or one star or the other. And even as a parent, we're like trying to get the skill out of these boys and girls as early as 3 years old. Oh, he's interested in this. And we quickly push them on there because this generation is just blessed. You can see the 10-year-old girl enjoying every bit of it. She's having fun. Even though the training looks hard, but to her it's not. It has become fun for her. And that is what sports is all about. Sports is a bond. It has brought everybody together. And if you are serious with what you are doing, your future is just waiting for you to tap into. And that is exactly what we are seeing now. Even at the Commonwealth Games, the ongoing Commonwealth, we have a 13-year-old boy representing his country. I can't remember the country. I think either Scotland or Wales, one of those two countries. It's inspiring. As early as 13.
That's why most of these kids, their aspiration will be for them to at least climb up the podium. But have we ever wondered, how is this podium made? Who makes this podium? Especially the one they're using right now? Do you want to know? Why not? Take a look. And so that's how it is made. Now you know it takes at least 3 days just to make one of them. It's still your program, ABC Sports, with just sincerely Chris Obokolo. With it here is Tony Wigwe, ex-international, and of course, Abe Radio Network and CEO, who is Abe Lauren, is also here with us. We've been x-raying what has been happening in sports. So much still packed for us to give you in here. Remember the UEFA Champions League, the Europa, EPL, and all other things that is happening. Remember, you can join the discussion here on ABC Sport. Just follow our hashtag ABCSL, and of course, you'll be part of the story. And whatever the discussion is, and whatever you have in your mind and you want to talk to us about it, hashtag ABCSL, and we'll pick that up. For now, we'll quickly take a break. When we'll come back, so much to talk about. Stay with us.
It begins with a dream of turning what you like into what you love, into what you live for.
That's the gold medal.
To all the athletes, to all the fans, to those who will come from afar, and those who call the Gold Coast home, we say welcome to our games.
Let the games begin!
It seems fitting that a place of unimaginable beauty is now poised to make a generation of new dreams come true.
A new world record for Forbes.
This has been a performance to remember for all time.
Go deep.
Yes, he's won it!
He's got it! A fantastic performance from Steve Lucas!
Dreams of going faster, further, higher. Dreams of power, precision, perfection.
Breathtakingly beautiful.
Dreams for yourself, for your teammates, for the flag you wear inside your heart. A dream of simply being there when history is written.
And Usain Bolt, the superstar of world athletics, and he's going to win this one. This is a terrific performance.
And when our time comes to host these games, to share our dream with the world, we will give our all in the spirit of sport. We will applaud heroes.
And she is Commonwealth champion once again.
Cheer new champions.
To think she's just 18 years of age.
And bring every athlete home. Here in our home, where it all begins with a dream.
Welcome back. It's still your program, ABC Sport, with your sincerely Chris Obokwa. In the studios with me, Tony Mwigwe and Abe Ilorin. We've been extraying all sports stories, and that time when we talk boxing, and this is it. We won't go too deep, but then again we will review what has since happened in Cardiff. Yes, we all saw it, how it all happened, how it all transpired. But then again, I start with a man who jumped so high when when Anthony Joshua won that fight, because he was also in the principal stadium. I start with Abe. Abe, I mean, he promised, he delivered.
Anthony Joshua. I remember what happened at the Principality Stadium when he was coming in, when his convoy was coming into the stadium. You will see that everybody just loved this guy. To start with, he locked down the whole of Cardiff. If you get to Cardiff on the day of his fight, there was no hotel, nowhere to stay. It's all about Anthony Joshua. And this guy is so calm. When he got on the ring, I will tell you this, we never liked what he showcased, because he was lonely, and we were like, we could have done better, give him some local drums and other things. I mean, after seeing Parker, the way he came in. But coming back to the fight itself, it was a very tricky fight, and Anthony Joshua controlled that fight from round 1 to the end. And that shows experience, although people were not happy he couldn't knock the guy out. But when you look at Parker, Parker is also a champion. He came there with his heavyweight belt, and he's got a very wicked right hand, and he always allow his left jab to open up his opponent. So it was a very, very technical bout, And Anthony Joshua was very careful and very clever. People who said Anthony Joshua has no chin, he can't go, he can't last 12 rounds, were proved wrong. Because now we can see Anthony Joshua going 15 rounds. And this guy said he normally trained for 15 rounds. So what else do you want? This guy is ready.
Good. Tony, you saw the bout. In your own opinion, what transpired?
You know, everything about being a champion starts when you're humble, you put the hard work, you know, and at the same time, you're not too bossy about your success. I think he is the epitome of humility. He has shown that even being a superstar, he can still be a human being, be humble, you know, talk to his fans, get close to anybody, talk to you on the street. So I think that's the likeness people have with him, and then that's why this newfound fellowship now, and you know, that he's creating all over the world, you know. And coming to the fight, he has a major fight. That fight is a very tricky one because of he's holding on to 2 belts. Parker is holding on to 1. He's trying to unify both. Whoever loses on that day has lost everything. So you need to be careful. And the difference between you and the other man in the heavyweight class is a punch. If the heavyweight boxer lands a good punch on the other person, irrespective of how strong your chin is or how strong you think you are, you will lose ground both on your feet and everything, and that might end you the fight if you don't recover quick before the bell. So I think Tony has shown now that he is now ready for the big game. He can control the fight when necessary, and then he can, you know, try to go for the kill if he knows there's an opening. And if it is not, he keeps to that distance in order to make sure that at the end of the day, he becomes victorious in that fight. And I think this was an eye-opener for everybody to see. It's not only about knocking us, but how to control the fight at the end to get the victory.
Good. I mean, Abe, many people have said, okay, fine, the fight have been, the deed have been done, and so we're looking ahead. What next for Anthony Joshua?
It's Wilder. He said it. He said, come on, baby. Look, Anthony Joshua is the one that makes boxing tick today. His name makes boxing tick. And he said it point blank. He said, he only needs that Wilder's belt. And once he wins that belt, I won't be shocked if he retires. He can leave the game and join another, I think, kickboxing. Because he's singing that song already. But for me, this guy has proved to us that, like Tony said, humility and focus can win you anything you want in life. That's what has inspired me about Anthony Joshua. Coming very close to this guy, talking to him one-on-one. I remember the first time I saw him, I was shocked. Anthony Joshua prostrated. I have the picture. I was like, what? And he now told the people, you know why I've prostrated to these people? Because they are my people, and I know who they are. I was shocked. Immediately he said that the world press just swarmed on us. So, this guy has opened the eyes of many youths to see that the future is there for them only if they are focused and they pay good attention to their career. Joshua had no other means of livelihood apart from boxing, and he said it. So many people depend on me, so there is no point talking about losing here. And he told Wilder, I am waiting for you, and by November, we might see this fight come up.
Good. Tony, I'm going to come back to you, but that will be when we listen to Anthony Joshua speaking. The question will be, just begin to arrange your minds on this. Can Anthony Joshua do it again? Perhaps they are saying sometimes in November, I'm not sure. But we'll come back to see how it is. Let's quickly listen to Anthony Joshua. He has something to say to you, and we'll return. Stay with us.
How's it going, guys? I hope everyone's well. How's it going, girls? I hope you're all well. I just want to say Thursday the 12th of April, I'll be down at the Indigo, London 02. I'll be doing a talk with Adam Smith, and there's nothing off limits. This is my first appearance as such since the fight. So make sure you get down there, follow the link to purchase some tickets, as all proceeds raised will be going to the Steel Warriors Charity Foundation that helps prevent knife crime.
Anthony Joshua there. So if you can, why not join him at the O2 as he tries to put hands on charity activities. But then again, we'll go back to what truly matters in terms of him knocking out the American welder. Can he do that? I mean, there have been so much talk. Welder once says that never. He says he wants to come to London. Forget America. Who's there? He wants to be here. He wants to show his power. Can Welder really be wild with Anthony Joshua?
He's a wild card, no doubt about it. Yeah. His name speaks for himself also, because if you watch some of his fights, you see that he doesn't take prisoners in the ring. He makes sure that he punishes his opponent to make sure that the next time you will not even dare to challenge him. And I think being somebody of that, who is ruthless like that, you have to be careful also when you're fighting him. As now, Tony has all the trump cards in his front. So he has to pick his moment to make sure that he is ready to fight Wilder, because that is the only belt remaining for him now to capture in terms of boxing. No boxer has ever unified the 4 belts. No boxer. So if that's like Abby was saying, if he eventually gets that, he might go to retire, knowing fully well that record is his. And at the same time, Eddie Hearns and the rest of them who are the managers now has to be careful. They don't need to rush into this fight with Wilder. They need to take their time and then pick the moment is right for him. He's just coming out of a big fight now. He needs time to recover, he needs time to rest, and then he needs time to start training again. So also pick 1 or 2 fights before the Wilder fight in order for him to get real focus. Maybe like for like type of boxes with Wilder, so that you get an experience of how you're going to approach this fight. Then you can now make that call. November might be soon, might be too soon, but I'm looking at probably it must happen. If it's going to happen, it must happen by next year, 2019.
Abe.
Unfortunately for Anthony Joshua, he's got 3 belts. He has to defend these belts on and on and on again. And we might eventually see him fighting every 3 months, because the rules are very clear. He knew what he was getting himself into. And that's why he wants that Wilder fight very quickly. I believe that guy has another agenda.
So he has 4 belts.
He wants the 4th belt because it's
he has 4 belts already, isn't it?
He has 3. 3 major belts. 3 major.
Okay.
The only one he needs now is the WBC title belt.
Yeah.
That's the one he needs now. He's got the WBA, the WBO, and IBF. So Wilder has the WBC. So once he captured the 4th one, there won't be time for him again, and it will be very difficult for him to defend the 4 because all the associations will want that belt to be defended at a particular time based on the policies of the association the belt is holding. So that's a problem. And I believe that's why he wants that Wilder fight as quickly as possible. Then he will decide on which belt he can let go of.
Okay, I think at this point we'll just wrap up on Anthony Joshua. But let's put it this way. Will you say it was a good bout? Were you disappointed?
Yes, a little bit, because of the spectacle of that fight. You understand? And then everybody wanted to see a bloody fight. A good exchange. The referee also didn't help matters, because the referee was jumping in and out and breaking the fight. So he didn't really leave some nasty moments just to give the fans an excitement. So that's why everybody said the fight was dull. It wasn't that exciting. So, and people will be eager to see Anthony Joshua back on the ring to come and fight again with somebody else, just to give them back that excitement, because they didn't get it in this fight.
The referee, I have to say, was always stopping at some, crucial moments. At the point, I was asking myself, does he not like boxing, or does he not like people fighting? Then why is it actually in the middle of the place of officiating?
That was the same question we were asking ourselves. But if you look at the history of Parker, it's like a rogue fighter, a rogue boxer. And that was why the referee laid the rules very clearly. He likes to bump into his opponents with his head, and coming from what happened to the last bout, where the guy used his head on Joshua. We saw the same antecedent on that night, and that was when the referee said, no, you can't be doing this. And when you looked at his fight, he normally put his body on his opponent and then open him up with. It's a rough fighter, and the referee wants a clean fight. but that makes it very boring. I don't care whether it's a rogue fighter. At that level, everything goes. And that was what we were all expecting, but unfortunately, it didn't happen. But let's thank God, Anthony Joshua controlled the fight and won. It was a good fight for me. Highly technical, very disciplined, and he won 10-2 rounds.
Fair enough, Anthony Joshua won, but then again, the boxing fans are saying it's not what most boxing fans are saying that's not what they wanted, especially with the referee always intercepting, as you have said. Although there is a news coming from the Commonwealth talking about will I be the one to actually say mosquito bites or someone not feeling well at the mosquito? But Tony had been following it. Tony, just before we quickly go on a break, a quick one. What's the story in the Commonwealth Games about people not feeling well? Nobody has come out to say it there, but we know that there's something happening.
Yes, I think from reliable sources, an athlete is seriously ill and is hospitalized, and they're monitoring the person. So, but the thing is, every association has not made claims of it yet. But obviously, there's one person who is sick. But as it stands, also, they are saying that there's no malaria in Queens, and then that probably he was sick coming into the competition, and malaria is not transferable to the next person. The only thing is that we just hope that the athlete gets better as in time to come.
Because that will really shake other athletes up and scare them, if I have to, especially for those who are not used to the disease called malaria.
Yeah, because that's why they're trying to assure them that he didn't contact the malaria there in Australia. So obviously, he would, because it's caused from malaria is caused through mosquito bite, and is non-transferable to the other person. So obviously, he must have had it coming into the competition, and when he got there, he became sick. So they had no alternative than to either quarantine him and then make sure that he's well before releasing him back again for the competition.
It's still your program, ABC Sports, with yours sincerely, Chris Obuko, Tony Wigwe, and of course, Abe Ilorin have been extracting sports stories that are making the round. The Super Falcons of Nigeria only yesterday confronted their France counterparts. If we have time, we will take a bite of what happened in the UEFA Champions League, EPL, and more of all the stories making the round we will give to you. That will be after this break. Stay with us.
It begins with a dream of turning what you like into what you love, into what you live for.
That's the gold medal.
To all the athletes, to all the fans, to those who will come from afar, and those who call the Gold Coast home, we say welcome to our games.
Let the games begin.
It seems fitting that a place of unimaginable beauty is now poised to make a generation of new dreams come true.
A new world record for Forbes.
This has been a performance to remember for all time.
Go deep.
Yes, he's won it.
He's got it. A fantastic performance from Steve Woodgard.
Dreams of going faster, further, higher. Dreams of power, precision, perfection.
Breathtakingly beautiful.
Dreams for yourself, for your teammates, for the flag you wear inside your heart. A dream of simply being there when history is written.
And Usain Bolt, the superstar of world athletics, and he's going to win this one. This is a terrific performance.
And when our time comes to host these games, to share our dream with the world, we will give our all in the spirit of sport. We will applaud heroes.
And she is Commonwealth champion once again.
Cheer new champions.
To think she's just 18 years of age.
And bring every athlete home. Here in our home, where it all begins with a dream.
Welcome back. Still your program, ABC Sport, is yours sincerely, Chris Obukwelu. So much still to talk about. It doesn't really matter for those of you who are already crying about the Super Falcons in the game yesterday, 20th minutes, and there was already a goal. And all that transpired. And they say, okay, as time was going on, 2-0. You know what, we'll get to it. The Ghanaians will find some comfort with what since transpired yesterday. Also, Libya, another story coming in. Libya hoping that the FIFA will have some comfort with them, especially with the visit of FIFA to Libya. They hope the FIFA Federation will throw away the sanction which they have on Libya. With me here is Tony Wigwe and of course Abe. They're all ready, fully charged they have been, and giving us the stories, analysis as it were. Now it is time to let's quickly talk about ex-international Super Eagles of Nigeria, coach Super Eagles of Nigeria, and now he has since gone to Holland, if you have to say, and things are beginning to emerge. Only yesterday we saw him brought us some stories, and we will quickly look at the story he pasted on his Twitter page. I think this is the second one, and he's saying the court, the Dutch court fined Fortuna. Fortuna is the club which he coaches for not being a good employer to Sunday Olise and sanctions them. Most importantly, the court stated that Sunday Olise has not acted as a bad employee. What that simply means is that Sunday Olise, wherever he is a happy man. Let's quickly see the second tweet from him. Sunday Olise and his men, the court further sanctioned the club to compensate Olise immediately, and that will be financial compensation. He is obliged to stay in the club until the end of month of May 2018. And of course, for those who have been wishing him well, as we all are, he says, thank you very much. Guys, this is a man who trouble never, departs from his head. But, I mean, before we heard the club come back to say, no, listen, we haven't done anything wrong, you are the bad employee here, But now, I mean, this is what Sunday Olise is saying, and that the court has since found him a good boy, if we have to put it that way. Tony, ex-international.
No, but from the Sunday I know, even from the time when we were all playing, and even I was lucky enough, we grew up in the same area in Nigeria, and so he has always been an outspoken person. He would never turn away from any fight. He's very, very outspoken. And I believe that for him to have gone to this length is just to make sure that he cleared his name. And I believe with this that is happening now, I'm happy for him, because if this is allowed to happen, it will set a bad precedence for some of all the other coaches coming from behind. So, but for him, going as far as to the court to clear his name, it's great for him, it's great for the young coaches. Because sometimes, like he said, I am a coach, this is a club. If they want for me to partake in something illegal, I shouldn't be able to put my hands into it because of it is not right. And if I, as a person, stand up for what is right and I get fired for it, then that is not fair. And I think that is why he went to the court. And with this court decision now, I think the club now is obliged now to listen to the court, or either they have to appeal it, because they said, according to the club website, they are saying that they're going to take legal action to know what their options are. So hopefully they will settle this thing, and then he can now move on with his life. But I'm happy for him, though. I'm really happy for him.
Abe, he's still an employee of the club till the end of May 2018. And the truth about it is, let's not get that wrong. He has shown good record in that club until this dilly-dally of but then again, he said, financially, with what we read from his Twitter, financially, he will be paid.
To be honest, he was offered black money by the club side. Black money is, don't let the tax men know about this, just have this, and let's shake hands. Olise said, no, I don't care whether you pay tax or not, do the right thing. I think integrity matters a lot, and this guy is a very intelligent guy. He's highly knowledgeable, well exposed, and is ready to battle to the end on what is right. And this is a very good example for our manager. Don't be desperate. Don't be cajoled. Stick to your gun and success will come. He has proved to us that no employer of labor can malign you or just treat you anyhow. This will be a good lesson to the club because for once he has set a precedent. Many managers or coaches around the world who are having problems with their clubs as we begin looking at Ulisse now that, wait, the same thing happened to Ulisse and he won his case. I have a right now, let's go. Because before, the club side will just come and just throw them out for no reason. They can't try this in England. So why should they try it with Sunday Ulisse? Is it because it's not part of them or what? And he's saying, whether I come from wherever, do the right thing. And I think it's good for football. Financially, I think the young man will be very happy because he's getting his pay now. And even we get it till May. So the onus is on the club to do the right thing. I don't care whether they go to the Court of Arbitration or Supreme Court or whatever court they want to go. The point is, pay this man and let there be peace.
Clubs will not want to find themselves tarnished. But then again, Sunday Ulisse we all know will also be very stubborn to make sure that his name, as you have rightly stated, is nowhere in his state line. Is Sunday Ulisse employable, if we have to use those words?
Yes, because you're not what you're looking at now. It is the coaching ability, what he has done for this club. You're right. Since he got there, took the club to promotion and everything. So he is a good coach. When we talk about coaching, we're talking about, the thing is, it's difficult to get the platform for you to perform your trade because there are lots of coaches, less clubs. So, and the little ones that have gotten the opportunity, he has gotten the opportunity now. So, because when he left the national team, everybody was saying, oh, he's not going to get a job anywhere else again. But he got a job. And then he was able to do well with this, if not for this ugly incident. So obviously, other clubs will be looking at him now to say, oh, he did well this thing. Why they wouldn't want to employ him as at that time he was having the problem with the club first? They want this issue to be cleared so that they know, the clubs will know where they stand with him. So any club coming to employ him now knows where he stands with him. He will know that, listen, right, if we're employing you, we're going this direction, and that's the direction we're following. So, and he has set a precedent for himself, and clubs will follow that based on how you have set your line this thing. So he's employable, of course, yes. His record will show for him. His record will speak for him also.
Guys, those who are watching now knows you guys very well, and one of them is saying, can I hear your analysis on the Super Eagles game? Okay, well, we'll do that for you guys. A quick one, we'll do that for you guys, which simply means it's going to be very quick anyway because we didn't put this on our platform, on our plates, but we will, out of favor, grant you guys that. The Super Eagles of Nigeria has since played 2 games. This will be very quick, guys, please make it. What's your thoughts on the coach when we're talking about coaches?
Well, the manager is very humble and he said something that I'm holding on to. He said, we are number 52 in the world. We have the youngest team going to the World Cup. So, we are still growing. We saw quite well in that game. Serbia came to play football. They are not there on a friendly basis. They want a winning performance because they've lost to Tunisia, and that didn't go down well with them. And you know in football, this can begin to lock you down psychologically. So they came all out against the Super Eagles. They came against the Super Eagles that really wanted to try 1 or 2 techniques. Because the coach said that, look, I'm not going there for a do or die battle. I want to try 1 or 2 things and see how it goes with the players. And that was exactly what he did, and he introduced new players. Mind you, Nigeria didn't feature 4 key players in that game. Obi was in there. And likewise, few other boys, I can't really get their names, but 4 key players were in there. And when you look at the positioning of those players, he swapped them around just because he wanted to try some techniques. I think it's a good game for Nigeria.
Ex-international, we saw, as he rightly said, at least some players were missing. Even Moses at a point was, taken out just to see the mix of others. plenty EPL players didn't also, play in that game. We saw the heart of the team was surely missing. But then again, is that what is required at this point?
Yes, because this is the stepping towards to the major competition. You're not going to go to the competition without players that you have not tested. So even the ones that are going to be on the bench, who would come out, as substitute for the others, needs to be ready also. You need to be sure who you're taking, so that when you have a problem in any position, somebody coming in can fit into that distance. So obviously the friendly match, this is the reason why we are playing friendly matches, is to try every bit of the team, to make sure you are now sure of the 22 players you're taking to the World Cup. So he has we played Poland, good game, we won that game 1-0. So now you need to give other people the chance also to come into the game so that you see what they are also. And it's good that we're playing like-for-like kind of teams that we're going to meet in the World Cup. The Serbia game was a good game also to show some of the players he is not too sure about. You have to see, even the game against England now, that is leading towards to the World Cup now. That is where you now see the full crop of the team, of the first 11 that will start the game in the World Cup. But leading to that now, you will see a different phase of players. German was a typical example.
Sorry to stop you. That different phase of players. Yeah. Are you insinuating that the coach should invite more players?
Yeah, of course. The World Cup is still some weeks ahead. You understand? Bearing injuries.
Are we supposed to be doing try and error at this point?
No, but the coaches know. The coaches at the back of their mind, they know the first 10 players they will put on the pitch. All they are looking for now is an additional players that will help them when it matters most. Take, for example, some of these players you see now who will be in the first team might get to the World Cup and they won't be able, the first game, they will not perform. So what do? You need to have a backup plan quickly to get somebody to replace them, because during the World Cup, you don't have the time anymore. The games come thick and fast. So you need to have that player ready.
Someone was suggesting a name and said, what about Obafemi Martins? But we have to say to you that Obafemi Martins has been ruled out for at least, my brain says, 6 to 7 months. So that simply means he won't be ready for the World Cup. I mean, they say Brown Igaye. I don't know if Brown can can he come up to do something. I don't know. There are so many names flying around, but I think this is the time to begin to close up on invited players instead of inviting more players and trying errors, in my own opinion.
You know what Rojo said? He said clearly, he said, if I see a better player than the ones I have now, I will grab him. And look at the case of Saudi Arabia. The manager went to watch a local game, all these street games, and he saw a player there. Believe it or not, that guy is now part of the Saudi Arabian national team. That is what football it's all about. The coach is open to new players coming in to join this present group of players, and that's it.
Okay, so guys, you guys believe on new players?
Not really flooding the team on new players.
But that's what they're going to do anyway, isn't it?
Maybe one or two. No, but you look at this. Let me give you an example now, right? You're going to have injuries. So, and when you have that injuries, what do you fall back on? You're going to have players who will be short on their performance coming to the World Cup. Some players will have stage fright, irrespective of they are big players. They've played in big leagues. The World Cup is different. If you watch, there are some successful players in the league, but during the World Cup, you don't even see them because they just fade away. So some players you don't believe even can be able to perform on that day. You see them performing, and then that's what you need. So, and the only way you will see it is on that day when the World Cup starts proper.
All right, guys, we need to perhaps put a spot on that because there's so many things we need to talk about. We'll take a break now and see your program ABC Sports. If you're just joining us, you're not far from what we're doing in here. Call more friends and let's sit around the TV and talk sports if we can. Remember, you will always, if you can, join us on this discussion. ABCSL. That will make sure that we get all your chats with us. But for now, let's quickly take a break. When we come back, it will be time for us to deal more on the sports stories. Stay with us.
It begins with a dream. A dream of turning what you like into what you love, into what you live for.
That's the gold medal.
To all the athletes, to all the fans, to those who will come from afar, and those who call the Gold Coast home, we say welcome to our games.
Let the games begin.
It seems fitting that a place of unimaginable beauty is now poised to make a generation of new dreams come true.
A new world record for four.
This has been a performance to remember for all time.
Go Dean.
Yes, he's won it. He's got it. A fantastic performance from Steve Lucas.
Dreams of going faster, further, higher. Dreams of power, precision, perfection.
Breathtakingly beautiful.
Dreams for yourself, for your teammates, for the flag you wear inside your heart. A dream of simply being there when history is written.
And Usain Bolt, the superstar of world athletics, and he's going to win this one. This is a terrific performance.
And when our time comes to host these games, to share our dream with the world, we will give our all in the spirit of sport. We will applaud heroes.
And she is Commonwealth champion once again.
Cheer new champions.
To think she's just 18 years of age.
And bring every athlete home. Here in our home, where it all begins with a dream.
Still your program, ABC Sport, with yours sincerely, Chris Obukwalo. With me here is Tony Wigwe and of course Abe, men who has come in to give their wanted opinion, you have to put it that way. Just before we go into some other stories that are making the rounds, let's quickly say only yesterday there was a loss from the Super Falcons, and they played with the France female national team. We have since seen, a replica, if you have to put it that like that, with the Ghanaian female national team. 8-0 it ended after 90 minutes of proceedings. And one begins to wonder, local champions in Africa, and when they get to the world, they get jittery. What is the problem with female football? Let's quickly dive into that. Africa has a lot of talent, but then again, they get to Europe and they get jittery. Guys, what's happening?
Number one, the gap is there. When you talk about the gap, we talk about management, facilities, and the confidence of these girls. You cannot compare what we have in Nigeria with what they have here in Europe. And I believe by now NFF is supposed to have known that they need to expose these girls the more and give them the right facilities to play football. For example, if you look at the female league in Nigeria, it's zero. It's nothing to write home about. One of the girls called me recently. She's not part of the friendly match. She told me she's not going to go because she said she was on the verge of quitting football. Why? Because the team she was playing for in Nigeria didn't pay her for about a year. And how much is the money? Peanut. The girl was lucky enough to grab a club in France. She just managed to transfer, to get moved to France. And she said she's not interested in the national team now. She wants to cement her place in the team, because this is where she's making her money. So you can look at other players like that. It's a big problem. The gap is there. In France, they have a very solid league. They have the facilities, and the girls are being compensated. Even though the compensation might be small, but it's far better than being on the street doing nothing. And that's why you can see the scoreline being so massive, and it's like they don't know how to play. They are talented, but they don't have what it takes to take on those who are really ready to play football day in, day out.
Tony, at halftime, France was hitting Nigeria by 3-0. Those girls are really talented. But then again, how can one improve the state of their talent?
Yeah, you cannot improve it when you don't have a major competition that you're playing all the time, you know, because when you play games, the more you play the games, the more you're going to improve. So, and obviously, not having a good league, you know, it's one of the biggest problems that they are facing, apart from the financial side of it and the facilities also. Like in Africa now, there's none of the clubs have a stadium where they are playing. None has any sponsors. None has, they don't have, they only have coaches who tries to beg these players to come and play or to come and train. You don't handpick players when you have major competitions and you pick them to go and play all the teams who are preparing themselves day in, day out through their league, and at the same time when they have a national call-up, they all assemble again to play in a major tournament. So it's not going, you're not going to manufacture, you know, their talent overnight to, you know, polish it to get to the standard that that's why everybody is looking to come out of Africa to come and play somewhere in Europe. And you don't expect them again, when they make this leap on their own individual basis, you want them to come back again and start slaving for you in the national team when you have not provided any step or anything for them. No, they will not do that. That's why a lot of our players, a lot of our athletes, when they come outside here, they have good facilities, good training, they turn around to start representing that country, because that is the country that gave them life. That's the country that gave them the stepping stone for them to become what they are. So if you don't put anything, you don't expect to get anything back. And that's what's happening with most of the African countries. That's why the gap is too much. We need to find a way to bridge that gap. And to find a way to bridge that gap is to try to introduce money back again into the game for the women's football, because you don't expect somebody who is training with an empty stomach. Give them a good league, even though the league is not standard to that of Europe, but something that they will look up to every weekend to go and play. They train, they go and play the league. At the end of the day, there's a bonus point, there's a bonus for them for playing, you know, for becoming that, so that it will encourage the others coming behind them to join also. So with that now, you can now say now, yes, we are trying to build a team that will rival the outside world, which is the Europe.
In conclusion, I'll round this up so that we'll go to other topics.
Unfortunately, even in Europe, the gap is still wide. But when you look at these females, they're just comfortable. The highest paid female player in England earns £60,000 a year. And you can see that's what a player goes on with in the men's team. I think, like Tony said, money should be introduced into Nigerian female football. And NFF should take them seriously. Don't treat them like no one is watching them. Don't treat them like, well, we don't care. Treat them like they are doing something. They've won several laurels for us, and we should compensate them for that. I think the way they are sourcing for sponsors for the national male team, they should do the same thing for the female national team, so that these girls will not go train on empty stomach, because most of them complain about being left to do these things on their own. So that's it.
Yeah, but sorry, like you said, these packages that we built, you know, the NFF built to go to sponsors to get all these deals, this female team should be incorporated into
automatically,
it, so that some part of that money, some part of the Winfield will go to them. And the problem is, even though it is stipulated that that goes to them, does it get to them?
Yeah, I think the problem is the authority that be have to figure out exactly where the roots of what they are doing truly belongs. Their heart might be totally for the men team, and the female team is just there because they know that the female team don't put so much money on the table, so and they shy away.
And that is where accountability comes in. They need to be accountable. How much are they expending on other teams? So that when you tell us you made 10 billion how much of that 10 billion has been expended on these girls? Because you cannot just be sending them out and these girls will be carrying placards at the end of the day. It's not right. Like what they did after winning the Nations Cup and they didn't
Staying
get paid.
in hotels and for hours, days and all of that. It's an ugly incident, I won't lie about that. And there's also some political angle to it. As,
a lot of bureaucracy, man.
Yeah, but I think you used the better word. Anyway, it's still ABC Sports with yours sincerely, Chris Obukwalo. We're still moving on with things that's happening. Only on Tuesday, Wednesday, we saw the beauty of the UEFA Champions League. On Tuesday, Ronaldo, a man who many think, oh, he's dying, came out to say, listen, guys, I have not just started. Lifted so high that at some point I was thinking he's a bird. Anyway, 3-0 it ended after 90 minutes of proceedings, and that simply keeps the Real Madrid in a good state with the producer just teased me with that, and one would say it is a classic as it were. Let me start with Tony. Tony, you had a few days with a beautiful goal, and Juventus looked ordinary.
The goal that he scored, is in football, that's what you call a textbook goal. That is all the applications, all the systems, everything, all the basics of everything. You look at the dimension, you look at the legs straight, the angle, everything was based to perfection. You know, and he can never ever score any other goal again better than this, what he has scored in his career.
You think this man surprises us almost all the time, Anthony?
Yes.
Just to say that clips made possible by BT Sports, those who have the rights for the UEFA Champions League. I mean, this is beautiful moments, and you can't take away all the, razzmatazz that is being clothed with Ronaldo at this point.
Chris, that's my guy.
I know he's your guy.
And when you see that goal, it's a goal that I've pinned on my system. So when my system is on, I see that
all the time.
It's just fantastic. I mean, to some, Ronaldo is a god. To some, he's a superstar. It's so unfortunate that Ronaldo and Messi met in the same era. I mean, these guys have just they've taken football to another level. They've showed us what abilities can give you. They've showed us what natural talent can give you. If you now blend the two together, I mean, you can see this. You can't take this away from him. This is a collections item. He has just given us a collection. I saw one yesterday as well from Ramsey. That Ramsey's goal is another wonderful goal. But when you see this guy jumping almost 3 feet tall and have a perfect connection, man, his skill says it all.
Good. We'll quickly look at the result that made the rounds for the UEFA Champions League and how things stand. That's how it all stand. Beautiful moments. For those who are at home, not all of them have joy, especially on Tuesday. Sevilla tried all they could, but then again, Bayern were still strong. 1-2 it ended. On Wednesday, we wanted Messi to reply. But then again, he held his cool. But all that was important for Barcelona was the 3 points. Liverpool, another game one could not truly explain how it all transpired. But then again, it happened. Good. Guys, let's do this. How did this happen? I mean, let's go down to Liverpool. Let's go to the English glamour. How did it happen? Sometimes it will happen in, or even I don't think it will ever happen in the Premiership. What happened?
But you forget something. Of all the teams this season in the Premier League, Liverpool is the only team that has unlocked Man City, and people tend to forget that Liverpool defeated Man City in Anfield, and that first leg again of this UEFA Champions League is in Anfield. And Liverpool went out on that day with the sole intention to beat Man City. Because if you watch from their tacklings to the contest of the game, Liverpool was ahead for over 60 minutes. Man City was found wanting. Because Man City, their aim was to keep the ball, but they couldn't keep the ball on that day because Liverpool, all the second balls, Liverpool was winning all the second balls. The second goal that was scored by Chamberlain was the second ball Milner won, made that tackle. The ball dropped for Chamberlain, and what a terrific strike. You understand? So people now will start understanding how to play City. Because if you give City time on the ball, they have very good players. They will destroy your team. They will penetrate all the angles of your team. But when you don't give them, just like anything in the world, if you don't give anybody time on the ball in football, you'll be able to achieve a result. And that was what Liverpool did. Because of that, they suffered the penalty in the second half because you cannot run and put pressure for 90 minutes. So the remaining of that 30 minutes, they were able to manage it, and they were lucky enough. They didn't concede any goal at home, and that saved them for the day.
I have another angle. I will add another angle to that defeat. You see, when you look at Man City, they're not a team you can just run over overnight. I think something happened. But because these guys were being professional, they try not to talk about it. There is no team that such a thing will happen to and will not get shaken. Their boss was attacked, and the lives of these players was in danger. Naturally, that kills off a lot of
the
anxiety in them. And I believe that affected them, especially the first half. When you look at the Man City that I know, they are very fast, very tricky, and very decisive with their passes. But go and watch the game again. The first 30 minutes, they were so slow, they just couldn't stop this because when you look at Liverpool, if Liverpool is playing a top team, go and watch their last 15 or 20 games. They always start on a very, very fast note. Coupled with the fact that Klopp is the only manager that now understands how to unlock Man City. And what has happened to Man City further helped the team. Just give them that hit, and it worked very well in the first 31st minute.
Guys, we'll come back to still talk more on the Champions League. The EPL is still also in the cooler for us to unleash. Anyway, your program, ABC Sports, takes a break now. And when we come back, so much to talk about. Stay with us.
It begins with a dream of turning what you like into what you love, into what you live for.
That's the gold medal.
To all the athletes, to all the fans, to those who will come from afar and those who call the Gold Coast home, we say welcome to our games.
Let the games begin.
It seems fitting that a place of unimaginable beauty is now poised to make a generation of new dreams come true.
A new world record for four.
This has been a performance to remember for all time.
Go deep.
Yes, he's won it. He's got it. A fantastic performance from Steve Woodgard.
Dreams of going faster, further, higher. Dreams of power, precision, perfection.
Breathtakingly beautiful.
Dreams for yourself, for your teammates, for the flag you wear inside your heart. A dream of simply being there when history is written.
And Usain Bolt, the superstar of world athletics, and he's going to win this one. This is a terrific performance.
And when our time comes to host these games, to share our dream with the world, we will give our all in the spirit of sport. We will applaud heroes.
And she is Commonwealth champion once again.
Cheer new champions.
To think she's just 18 years of age.
And bring every athlete home. Here in our home, where it all begins with a dream.
is still your program, ABC Sports, and we just sincerely, Chris, so so much still to talk about on the Sports Speaking the Rounds. I know most of you have been asking, are we talking the EPL? Are we going to make analysis on it? Yes, we will. We mean the program is Tony Mwigwe, ex-international, and Abe Ilori, who is the CEO of Abe Networks. So much more coming in to talk to you guys about. But for now, we'll continue our trail on what happened on Tuesday and Wednesday. We'll, for now, stick with UEFA Champions League before the Europa. But first, UEFA Champions League. No doubt, we've talked about the goal. Brilliant, Ronaldo, perhaps. No, I don't want to go that route. Not the best here. let them keep quarreling who was the best. They are just, perfect players. Let's just put it that way. But then again, guys, I mean, someone is asking, what's the fault? What happened? How did City lose that game? Can you foster things that truly happened and that made City look ordinary on a day they could have perhaps gone with a draw?
Let me give you a breakdown of the team. The team consists currently with Aguero, Sterling, De Bruyne, Silva, and Sanya in front. With that attack now, they are lethal. You understand? So, but unfortunately for City, they had a problem with Aguero. He's injured. He could not start. Jesus was, taking his place. The other mistake Pep made on that day was dropping Sterling to the bench because he wants to control the midfield, and bringing in another midfielder who was slow, could not meet up with the pace from Liverpool. So that caused a lot of problem for him because of when Liverpool attacked, he could not cover up in order for him to be able to double up with Walker, trying to help Walker out from that, So now at every point in time, Walker was having 2 or 3 players against him. You are playing Liverpool. Liverpool has one style of play, which is high pressing and fast break. And that was what happened. They contested every ball from the beginning till 60 minutes. When you take out Sterling, who was the pivot in your previous attack, who has been causing problems for other teams, because when he's causing problems on the right, Son is causing problems on the left, they open up any defense. The strikers have the time to make their runs, and then they can be, pinpoint with good passes from Silva, putting all those intricate passes through the holes there. But you didn't have that day because all concentrations was on one side, which was Sané. All the balls was going to Sané. Liverpool's right full back was able to contain Sané. He couldn't break into the 18. As we know, he is fast-paced with the ball. He takes on defenders, taking you right into your own 18. But he couldn't do that because the young lad, had a wonderful game. He made sure that he didn't even get close to the 18.
Good. Let's quickly remind our viewers that Merseyside police are investigating the attack on the Man City, and of course, UEFA, we've been told, has since opened disciplinary proceedings. No player or staff were injured, but 2 police officers were told were hurt. That's exactly what you pointed out, but we need them to stress that and to tell the fans and viewers that that's not really the way to go. But one, in the other hand, might say the intimidation worked, but then again, it is for fun. And most people say this is their church. They have to, Let's not go there, guys. Let's look at other results. Remember, you can join the conversation. ABCSL. That's where you can, say your own thoughts on what you truly think about what transpired between City and Liverpool. Other results now on the Champions League. We know too well that Barcelona were uncatchable. But then again, the second leg is something that scares because these guys have that zeal to play. I mean, Roma are a team that are willing in their own home to show. But then again, Barcelona are always having that fear of always going out in the same round. What do you think about it? I mean, this is a place you have visited often and on. Barcelona 4, Roma 1.
No camp is a lion's den. Because when you look at the structure of the stadium, it's like you are playing in a pit. So if you are not confident enough, the fear factor might just blow you off. I've seen many players who are playing at the no camp for the first time. The only thing, the first thing they do is they'll be taking pictures. That, wow, I'm playing here. Same with Benabbeu. So when you look at what happened on that night, I knew quite well that if Roma failed to concentrate for 105 or 6 minutes, they're going to be blown away. And that was exactly what happened. They conceded, I think, 2 own goals. And that shows the measure of the pressure. Barcelona will always pressurize you. They will always play to their strength. But when you look at the La Liga, some lower teams have been able to hold them and force a draw out of...
Yeah, before they played that game, it was 2-2
against Sevilla. So anybody can hold anyone if the concentration level is high. Roma is not a bad side, but what they lack is maintaining that focus for the full 90 minutes and the extra minutes on top of it. And that was what made it different. They played very well, especially the first half. They did very well. They ought to have scored 1 or 2 goals, but they missed so many chances. You don't do that against Barcelona because they will naturally score. Yeah. That was exactly what happened.
Because of time, let's quickly run to the Europa, where, if nothing else, Arsenal team and of course their supporters indeed enjoys. Kelechi, wherever he is, perhaps have been dancing the Igbo dance. Lazio was good, and of course Atletico, Arsenal, and of course not forgetting. Guys, take your pick and give us your analysis on it.
I think we'll just start with Arsenal, which is here in England here, and I think Wenger needed something to really tell the fans that we are not dead and buried yet. Now he is looking for the short route back again into the Champions League because he knows that the league is gone now. He cannot qualify for the Champions League. So this is the only sure route for them to go, and they did perfectly well yesterday because before the game, everybody thought CSK Moscow again. That's another problem that they're going to have. But if you watching that game that day, Arsenal would have scored 20. That's how to tell you the amount of chances that they lost. In that game. So they opened up after they went 1-1. They opened up CSK Moscow at will, and they had a terrific night. One of their best nights in the Champions League, UEFA Champions League. For this year, I think it had it there yesterday. So obviously, from the look of the scores, you will know that they are going to qualify. All they need to is an away goal, and that will end the aspirants of CSK.
Just to say, game was played on Thursday. Just to say, CSK Moscow had Nigerian international. That's a very good one because he has always been on the bench in England, and for him to go out there and play, it's good for him that they are most times using him on games.
Apart from that, he had a very good outing yesterday. He gave...
On Thursday.
on Thursday night.
Yeah, Thursday night.
He gave Arsenal defense a lot of tough time, especially his first touch and his speed. Mustafi and Bellerin had a tough time dealing with Musa. The only problem I continue to have with Musa, which I believe led to his being begged while he was here, was his football intelligence, his last touch, his decision making. That has been his problem. Every time I watch Musa play, he can start well, but what happens to the final ball? And when you watch yesterday's game, he messed up so many opportunities. His crosses were bad, his decision making was terrible, and his shots were feeble. That has been my concern with Ahmed Musa. Not his speed, not his movement on the ball, but his finesse.
Yeah, because of you see, when you get to this level of football and you're blessed with the talent that he has, which is he has an abundant speed, you must learn to harness it with the game that you're playing. And it's a shame that he's gotten to this stage that he's not able to get that control over it. The likes of Tijani Babangida had that speed. they could control it when it
Finidi
matters
George.
most. Finidi George, they had that speed. They could control it when it matters most. So, and that is what he's lacking. He needs to find a way now to control both his speed and then to be able to manage it to play in the game. Like sometimes, there are times when you know you're chasing this ball, you're going to outpace that person. But before you get to that ball, you must learn to reduce your speed in order for you to get the control of the pull-out that you want to make or the pass that you want to make. But he goes every time flat out. You're not an athlete. You're a footballer. You don't go all that flat out. You go control the pace in order for you to do the secondary thing, which is either giving a good pass or making a good pull-out or shooting directly to the net, to the post. So I think he needs to find a way to enhance that. Maybe, I don't know, going back to the drawing board?
Perhaps he might have...
Probably he needs a manager who can really work with him. But unfortunately in England, there is no time for that.
Yes, time is running off. I'm just talking about time. Any minute, at least in a few hours, we'll be having Everton play Liverpool, and of course that game is coming up. We will be analyzing on that game. For those of you watching us on Ben Television perhaps might be drawing their curtains for us at this point. But then again, you can continue watching on Fusion Plus TV. Just at this point to also remind you that we have been keeping you guys for at least good 12 long episodes, giving you all that you require. At some point from next week, we will have a break, and that break doesn't mean that we don't return. What that simply means is that we're getting ready for the World Cup. The World Cup is coming soon, and we'll have to be fully charged to do all of that. And so what that simply means is we will have a break, and we'll surely return. So tell your friends and neighbors, in case you haven't seen us, give us a few days, we will return. Just making sure that we're fully charged for the World Cup. It's in your program, ABC Sports. Remember, you can join any of our conversations. All you need to do, just the hashtag ABCSL on your Twitter, and we'll get it live. You can also join our Facebook page and all other social media which we will be using. Guys, I mean, before we move, that's the story that is coming up, but I'm not sure if I have to share this at this point, or just quickly take our break on. I think we have a few minutes to go. Let's quickly say this. This afternoon, it will be a big one. It will be Liverpool and Everton. Everton have not had a good run, we have to say. The game will start any minute soonest. What do you think? Everton, just a quick one before we just quickly go on this break.
That is, what do you call it? When two elephants fight.
The grass and trees.
It is the grass that suffers. This will be a do or die battle. But let's think of it. Liverpool have a big game coming up on Tuesday. The question is, will Klopp rest some players? Everton needs the point, like yesterday. So there is no room for laxity. It has always been a battle of two enemies. The two stadiums are on the same road. They are not far from each other. So it is winner takes all tomorrow, but I see a draw at the end of the day.
I think Liverpool still has the edge over Everton, and with them now bubbling from this victory against Man City, that will spur them to, because also, let us not forget, they are looking for a second position place in the league. So they know that if they drop from this game, Man United will, if they win it, Man United is playing Man City. So that's another derby again. So if any of them that drops point here will extend the game or breach the point. So,
guys, we'll come back to look at all other features that are making the rounds in the EPL. But then again, let's quickly tell you this, guys. There's no other way than to say that for those of you on Ben Television, as we will say, remember when they draw the curtain close, you have to join us on FusionPlusTV.com. It's online, so you to continue watching all our programs on ABC Sport, and of course can join everything that we are doing in here. We'll take a break. When we come back, all the football analysis, all the stories. Most of you are still crying from the punches and the France female national gave to the Nigerian team. It's all right, it's just stay friendly. We'll take this break, we'll return. Stay with us.
It begins with a dream. A dream of turning what you like into what you love, into what you live for.
That's the gold medal.
To all the athletes, to all the fans, to those who will come from afar, and those who call the Gold Coast home, we say welcome to our games.
Let the games begin.
It seems fitting that a place of unimaginable beauty is now poised to make a generation of new dreams come true.
A new world record for four.
This has been a performance to remember for all time.
Go deep.
Yes, he's won it. He's got it. A fantastic performance from Steve Lucas.
Dreams of going faster, further, higher. Dreams of power, precision, perfection.
Breathtakingly beautiful.
Dreams for yourself, for your teammates, for the flag you wear inside your heart. A dream of simply being there when history is written.
And Usain Bolt, the superstar of world athletics, and he's going to win this one. This is a terrific performance.
And when our time comes to host these games, to share our dream with the world, we will give our all in the spirit of sport. We will applaud heroes.
And she is Commonwealth champion once again.
Cheer new champions.
To think she's just 18 years of age.
And bring every athlete home. Here in our home, where it all begins with a dream.
Welcome back. Still your program with your sincerely, Chris Obokwalo. At this point, we are looking at the EPL. So if you love the EPL, this is the time for you to truly take the center seat. I'm here with Tony Nwigwe and, of course, not forgetting Abe. They're fully charged and ready for this affair. So, guys, you guys clearly believe that Everton perhaps won't get the point they're looking for, even in their own home. That's the decision from you guys.
No, I'm going for a draw.
I'm going for a win for Liverpool.
Okay. So, guys, that's where you headed. Let's see what happens and let's see who is right. Moving on now, there are so many games that is been lined up for this afternoon, the 3 p.m. games. So it's going to be our pick. But before then, I've just been told let's quickly go back to how it all transpired last week. Guys, it is Chelsea Sports. That's the one that ruffled almost everybody. Congratulations to West Ham. They wanted that win and of course they got it. Now they are out. There's a bit of rest now for the bottom. But guys, let's quickly talk about Chelsea Sports. How did that happen?
Well, the better team won on that day, and Tottenham was better. I watched the game and I saw that Chelsea lacked this ability to really play when it matters this season. For some reason, there is a big problem in Chelsea, but nobody seems to, be able to pinpoint what that problem is. But I think again, Antonio Conte has lost the confidence in the dressing room among the players. When you as a coach, you've won everything, the beginning of the season, you start first of all quarreling with another player, you send the text to the player, one, that is insulting to the player's standard and to the rest of the players also in the team. That sends a message to other players to say, listen, this guy, we're doing this thing for this guy, but he doesn't value us. When he has his way, he will push us out. Secondly, again, the likes of the defender, what's his name, the Brazilian boy, you took him out for no reason. This was supposed to be somebody who is part of your team, who has played since he came back from Paris Saint-Germain. He's been on the team. You used him to replace John Terry. You've played him throughout to win the league. Then how magically all of a sudden he is out of the team with no explanation? David Luiz. And not even getting, sometimes he sits with the crowd, not even getting to the bench. So something is not right in Chelsea. The management is not speaking. No words from the management to say we are backing our coach or we are not backing our coach. This is what we want. Nobody's saying, and there's a tight lip in Chelsea. So you know quite well that something is not right. And that brings me to this sad moment. One of the legends of Chelsea, Ray Wilkins, died this week. He had a major heart attack. Quite unfortunate. He was in the hospital for 5 days. Everybody was expecting that he was going to get better. And all of a sudden, the doctor announced that he's no longer with us. And my condolence goes to the family, because God knows what they will be feeling at this time of this, very dark hour for them. So our thoughts and everything goes with the family. On that note, I say that something has to be done for Chelsea. It's either the coach will leave, obviously the way he looks like he's leaving. So I think Abramovich is used to hiring and firing coaches. But it's quite unfortunate he hasn't done that this season. So something is not right, and not until the season is over, they will be able to, handpick all the things that have happened throughout the season to be able to find out exactly what's wrong.
Abe, Tony's already taking us to Sunday. That's why we want to drop back to Sunday. But then again, let's stand with Sunday. We'll go back to Saturday, but let's quickly run to Sunday. West Ham with their 3-0 victory. Chelsea losing, and Chelsea needs this point. The same thing with West Ham. They need this point. Where do we stand with this game? 4:30 p.m. is going to be, and of course, going to be in Chelsea.
Let me start with Chelsea. Unfortunately, I'm seeing lack of passion on the part of Abramovich. The Abramovich I know will always come out to force his way in order to deal with a bad manager. Once you start losing, you are out. That has been the antecedent. The moment you start losing games, you start dropping games, you're out. But for the first time in many, many years, we now see Abramovich not doing what he normally does. Is that saying something?
8 points.
It's a question mark. Then secondly, when you look at West Ham are desperate at this moment. But I see a lot of imbroglio in the management of West Ham. So these are two troubled teams. Two troubled teams. I know Chelsea might win that game, and they will win handsomely, but we need to seriously look at what is happening in the camps of the two teams. The management of West Ham are not in good terms with the players and the fans. The management of Chelsea are not saying anything to the problems between the manager and the players. It's a big problem, especially Chelsea. Could it be that Abramovich is getting fed up spending money on Chelsea? Because normally he's not afraid to give you a golden handshake and off you go. By now he will have brought in one manager, pay him some fantastic. He's no longer doing that. And he's even supporting the manager. And here is a manager, we've seen it all. I think the problem Chelsea manager is having is the fact that he wasn't given the kind of money he needed to buy the players he really wanted in his team. He thought by sending a text to Costa, Chelsea will give him several millions to do whatever he wants to do. Instead, as usual, Chelsea did the business themselves. So I think it's a problem.
I thought when Mourinho was there, everybody said Mourinho was the problem. Mourinho has since left Chelsea without doubt, and the position at which Chelsea is sitting at this point is not pretty. And I guess, if my brain still serves me right, Mourinho is now in Man United, and They are both. They are, they are both Chelsea, as in the case where I don't know who is the problem here.
If you look at like I said earlier about the text and this thing, the text to Costa cost Chelsea a lot of money because this was a player who Atletico Madrid was willingly to open their hands and bring him back into the club. They are coming out with everything. But by you sending that text now, if Costa was supposed to cost 20 million, you have dropped the rate now to 10 million.
Devalued the player completely.
So now the player will now force his way out of the team. So he will not even want to stay there. And the club now knows that this player is going out. What will they do? They will hold back. Whatever offers they are making to you again, they will withdraw the offer, knowing fully well that you're not going to hold
that
on.
Was exactly what happened.
That was what happened. So the management was not happy with him for that. For costing us money, in order for us to get from this player, money that we would have used to invest in other in other players for you to buy the players. But you've cost us this money. So this is what we can offer you. If you don't like it, take it. So that was his first problem. Secondly, as the team progresses, the players at the back of their mind now know quite well that, hey, if they can treat Costa like this, who am I? So, and that alone rings bell. And then he did the worst part. In the middle of this thing, you're having problems with that, David Luiz. The press has asked him times with that number, what is wrong with David Luiz? He has not said one word. And at the same time, we don't see him on the pitch. So you don't use, as a coach, you don't bring in your own personal problems on the pitch. If you have a problem with a player, fine. You can settle that outside this thing, but make sure that the player is still playing for you because he's been paid to do that job.
I think something is going to happen, at least the truth will begin to crumble out if only West Ham beats Chelsea. Then the reaction will come and it will be all clear exactly what's happening.
Already, I think we know what will happen at the end of the season. So the guy...
You mean somebody will get a red card?
Definitely.
He knows that he's going.
He knows that he's going.
Are you guys giving a verdict already?
Of course. The handwriting is there on the wall. He knew he's going to leave. He's already contemplating on his next move. He's just waiting for Abramovich to say, okay, young man, it's time for you to go. But since that is not coming, he's just waiting for the end of the season and it takes him a leave.
Okay, talking about somebody that we always say is leaving, but will never leave. Wenger, he's still there. They have a game also on Sunday, and of course they'll be playing Southampton. Guys, what are your takes on it? Game starts 2:15, I'm being told. What are your takes on it?
I think Arsenal should win that game on a good day, if they perform. But the Arsenal that I know, they are very inconsistent this season. When you think they won't perform, that's when they perform. So everything goes for Arsenal this season. But it is very unfortunate that the fans are showing Wenger that, look, we've had enough of you. And I love the way they've done it. They stayed away from the games. It even happened yesterday. Day before yesterday during the quarter-final match against CSKA Moscow. They stayed away from the game, and that is saying something. It's up to Wenger to decide on when he wants to go. But against Southampton tomorrow, I expect Arsenal to win that game naturally because Southampton are not in the best of form.
Yeah, but Southampton has always given Arsenal problems.
The bogey team, right?
Yeah. Every season, they always that's the team that's giving them the headache. Anytime Arsenal gets a victory, it's going to always be a slim victory. And if they want to lose, they lose on a high margin to Southampton. So I believe that the game might end up being a draw, And like he's saying, I think it's high time Wenger just say to everybody,
he needs to consider his position.
Listen, I have heard what you people are saying. This is my reason for staying. Just give me one more year.
Tony Wigwe and of course Abe is here with me in the studios. I don't know, I'm getting so much text messages from the Nigerian people watching us. They are truly very angry. They say, how can our team lose this way? Not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, six. I'm sorry. But then again, don't worry about, I keep saying, don't worry about those goals that were scored in. The Falcons are only training and see how things will be. Anyway, hope NFF is trying to do things rightly. Moving on, guys, also we have a big one. Tottenham are away to Stoke. They enjoyed good victory, but then again, can they still power on against Stoke?
Yes, because for me, they would because they are in the best of form now. Just like they always end every year, they end it on a high note. So I believe that after having that victory against Chelsea, this and Harry Kane is back again. That's another problem for Stoke. So
machine.
Yeah. So obviously, Spurs is in a better position now than than Stoke. Stoke, they're still struggling. They're dropping. So it's not going to be an easy game, but I look at Tottenham coming out ahead of that match.
Abe.
Tottenham are enjoying the best of form at the moment. And again, when you look at the hard work the manager has put into that team, the players believed in him and they are delivering for him. So what more do you need? All they need to do is to just go there, play their game, and they will naturally come out victorious. The team is playing with high confidence, and after winning against Chelsea after 28 years, that's huge.
Okay, guys, we'll quickly take a break. When we come back, it will be time to begin to draw the curtains for ABC Sports. We've been told there's so much for us to still talk about. We have Leicester and Newcastle, and they won't be playing for Leicester, we've been told, and we also have the big one, Man United City. The deliberations, the analysis will be here. But then again, before that, it will be a break from us. We'll return.
It begins with a dream of turning what you like into what you love, into what you live for.
That's the gold medal.
To all the athletes, to all the fans, to those who will come from afar, and those who call the Gold Coast home, we say, welcome to our games.
Let the games begin.
It seems fitting that a place of unimaginable beauty is now poised to make a generation of new dreams come true.
A new world record for Forbes.
This has been a performance to remember for all time.
Go deep.
Yes, he's won it. He's got it. A fantastic performance from Steve Lucas.
Dreams of going faster, further, higher. Dreams of power, precision, perfection.
Breathtakingly beautiful.
Dreams for yourself, for your teammates, for the flag you wear inside your heart. A dream of simply being there when history is written.
And Usain Bolt, the superstar of world athletics, and he's going to win this one. This is a terrific performance.
And when our time comes to host these games, to share our dream with the world, we will give our all in the spirit of sport. We will applaud heroes.
And she is Commonwealth champion once again.
Cheer new champions.
To think she's just 18 years of age.
And bring every athlete home. Here in our home, where it all begins with a dream.
We're live and ready to fire from all cylinders. We're actually in the last lap of the show. Chris Obukwal, yours sincerely, and Tony Mwigwe, Abe Ilori, all have joined me on today's edition of ABC Sports for us to deliberate, analyze, and of course, tell you what is happening. But then again, it's not only us that does all of that. You can be part of it. You can hashtag ABCSL. Talk to us. Let's know exactly where it borders. Most of you are still angry with a game of football that since turned to basketball. The Super Falcons of Nigeria beaten, trashed, if I use that word, by the French National. It's a learning progress, that's how I always want to put it, but the done is already on us. Super Eagles should watch it, because anyway, we'll get to talk about that. But for now, we'll stick with our EPL, where we have been extracting some of the teams that are playing this afternoon. So much still to talk about. Guys, I mean, hands are still filled up. Leicester also have their game today. Leicester, I mean, you can't blame them. Champions, yes, fair enough. But then again, we never expected that to happen anymore anyway. That is like it has happened for a long time. Now they have their hand. What do you think, what has become the problem of Leicester?
Well, they just had a one season off where they came really good against all odds and very good for the team. But, you know, when you look at the team and the quality of players they have, they are not the best in the league. Even the year they won it, they weren't the best in the league. But it just happened for them. Whatever they did worked for them that season. And when you see how much other teams have expended on their teams in preparation for this season alone, you can't, I think, with the problems they have with Mahrez and few other players they lost, the gap is there, in all honesty.
They just kept saying players and, you know, those who made them strong.
Exactly. So, and credit to them, they bought few good players like Ndidi. Ndidi has really excelled since he came into the team, and I won't be shocked if he spoke next season. I won't be shocked if he spoke, because he's one of their best players, and him not playing today, there will be a problem.
Okay, guys, moving on because of time. Talking about Poch, as he has said, we are told that Drogba, who is actually one of the best players, quote and unquote, for Man United, was actually offered to City, and that has become, you know, so much talk about. I mean, what's your thought on that?
Right, I might not really, you know, sometimes rumors fly, and then you know, I cannot believe that Man United will ever offer anything to City, you know, considering the rivalry between the two teams, you know. But it might be speculative journalism for people to.
No, but I think the coach was saying it.
Yeah,
is it trying to annoy someone?
Yes, because you know Mario is with his mind games and everything, because obviously he's looking for a reaction, yeah, you know, and that reaction is in connection with the game that they're going to play today this evening. So obviously he is looking for every angle in order to unseat the already unseat Man City, who is struggling now to see how they will be able to, you know, gather themselves up and play against Man United this weekend. Considering at the back of their mind again that they have a game on Tuesday with Liverpool, so it's a good game to watch, because City will want to done and dust everything about the league this weekend. So, and there's no better opponent again than to achieve that thing against Man United, who is their dead rival. So they will throw away everything that has happened on Wednesday with Liverpool and then concentrate more against Man United.
Would they be the champions this evening? And
I think Guardiola will want to finish the whole thing later today. And come to think of it, 2 back-to-back defeats will not all go down. It will not all go well with the team. I think Man City might just finish the business today. And knowing fully well that they've lost 3-0, why can't we just put all our legs in this game and win this league? And then whatever we can do to rescue the Champions League, we do that on Wednesday against Liverpool. I think Well, whatever tactics or gimmicks Mourinho is trying to bring in now might not work against those battered and battered Manchester City players. They will want to go all out at the Etihad. Good thing they are playing at home. This is the best time for them to clinch it and do it in a clinical way. So I expect a victory for Man City.
Guys, at this point, I want to say a very big thank you for always coming on when we call you on ABC Sports. You guys really have been very wonderful. I mean, we won't return again until this is very close, talking about the World Cup. But then again, I won't let you go until you give me a name that perhaps will be kissing days when the World Cup runs off.
Can I have it?
Yes, you can. Why not?
I see Argentina winning the World Cup.
It's going to be a tall order anyway because of the World Cup, has always eluded Messi. That would be his greatest prize, but I don't think he'll be able to get it in this era.
Okay.
So I see probably Brazil making a comeback to it.
Good. I will say let someone who has never won it before kiss this trophy. That would be my take. Unfortunately for the Super Falcons, for those of you who don't know the results and who have been tringling and trying to dodge all of that, just the copy of what happened against Ghana is what happened against the Super Falcons. 8-0. It ended. Guys, at this point, we want to say a very big thank you to all of you who have always been with us. And the session for us has since ended now. But then again, as I say, we will return just a few days to the World Cup, where we will give you all the analysis that you will need. A very big thank you to all of you. But keep those messages coming. Keep all those text messages coming. We will be reading it, and of course, we'll be finding our ways to bring back everything to you. Clem, very big thank you to you, and of course, not forgetting Shaz and our man, Jai. You guys have been very, very brilliant. Zach have been also lovely. I thank you all for doing it, guys. No other person to thank except you guys that are watching it. We will return during the summer to give you the World Cup. I know you sincerely. I won't. On the day I change my name, you will be the first to know. Chris Obukwal is my name. So long, everybody. Bye-bye now.
It begins with a dream.